This book is intended as an homage, as a tribute to the classical idea of enlightenment, the kind that you really have to spend your entire life as a spiritual seeker to achieve. So it's a nod to that, but this is a translation for the modern world. It's how we can find glimpses of that enlightenment, not just in a cave or on a mountaintop, but in the small things we do and say every single day. Real world enlightenment is when we tap into innate qualities that are inside all of us all the time. Qualities like attention, balance, compassion, and playfulness. And when we do that, and if we're very quiet inside, we sometimes get a sense of something that is far greater than ourselves. I bet you too have had the experience of feeling connected to something greater than yourself. Maybe it's walking in nature, maybe it's when you're with a loved one, but sometime when you just broke open your perspective and you started to experience, feel part of something that was vast and somehow profound. There's this great quote from the Tibetan tradition: have a worldview as vast as the sky, but keep your conduct as fine as barley flour. That's what I'm trying to do with this book. I'm trying to give everybody a taste of a variety of universal themes that are common to many wisdom traditions, that lead to a worldview that's as vast as the sky. But it's coupled with takeaways, things that are accessible, that all of us can do every day, so that we can see whether our conduct lines up with these themes. If you've ever been to one of those new fancy restaurants that serve only small plates, you've had the experience of being given 6 or 7 or maybe even more tiny bites of delicious meals. And that's what I'm trying to do with this book, with the universal themes. I'm trying to give you a taste of these various universal themes that lead to a wise and compassionate worldview without losing their nuance. I've been teaching these universal themes since 2000, and I wrote about them in my first book, The Mindful Child, in 2010, and again in Mindful Games a few years back. But real world enlightenment seemed important now, because our world is very polarized. And one of the things we know from every relationship, a marriage, a family, a friendship, is that when there's conflict, best way to resolve conflict is to focus on what you have in common. And these universal themes are common to many wisdom traditions. Can we focus on the commonalities of what we have in common and use that to build bridges? And through that, hopefully, we'll be able to resolve our differences. And I hope that this book gives a sense that we can have a perspective and a worldview that is vast, that's much broader than what we usually get stuck with in the grind of our workaday life. Our nervous systems have a way of getting ratcheted up, and when our nervous systems get ratcheted up, our bandwidth narrows. And I hope this book gives people a sense that we can widen our bandwidth, we can relax, we can lower our shoulders, and we can really get a sense of real world enlightenment, where things are bigger than you can even imagine. And yet we can bring that vast worldview down into the little things we say and that we do every single day in our relationships. Mindfulness and meditation has gotten popular. And it's funny, I was recently watching a video that I did in 2010 for the Mindful Child, and I said that then. So it's been getting popular for a while, right? And what often happens with mindfulness is people practice a little bit every day, a minute a day, 3 minutes a day, 5 minutes a day, something that's doable. And that's fantastic. So what this book will hopefully offer to people is a sense that do what you can and celebrate what you can and practice as much as you can wherever and whenever you can. And don't beat yourself up if you can't give it a lot of practice. There are also some big ideas out there though. And those big ideas can be integrated into what you do and say every single day. And if you do that, you'll be surprised maybe to see that there's a ripple effect and that your changes start to affect in a positive way all the people around you. In the sea of mindfulness and meditation and spiritual and self-help books that's out there, I hope that this book will stand out because it's accessible and because it's applicable without dumbing down the practices. That it still can be a little bit profound but very much grounded in our daily lives. When I started to write this book, I was a little bit deterred because the market is glutted. There are a ton of books out there about mindfulness, a ton of books about meditation, a ton of books about classical practice, and a ton of books about things that might be considered a little new agey. So why write the book? And what I hope that this book offers that is a little bit different, or at least resonates with some people, is if somebody like me, who's just trying to get by in this workaday world, if I was able to figure out how to find a little attention, a little balance, a little compassion, and a little playfulness in the ups and downs of daily life, that they can too. Readers are often drawn to these books for help. And so sometimes they're called self-help books, and sometimes that's said in a disparaging way. But you know what? Self-help is just the tip of the iceberg. And if a self-help book can get you to the point that you see the potential in everyday experience, that you see that it's possible to tap into the love, to the compassion, to the patience, to the kindness, to the wonder, to the beauty, to the joy, to the playfulness that's within and around us all the time, well, hallelujah, I'm all for it. Perhaps the feedback I get most frequently is that these books, these practices help busy people, that they're accessible, that they're clear. And that's what I hope if you pick up this book, that you'll get a taste of the universal themes, enough to start exploring the ones that really resonate with you, and that you'll also get bite-sized practices that you can integrate into your life right away. I've been asked what impact I hope this work will have on society. And the answer is really very simple, and it may not sound very grand at all, but I have been surprised over my years of working in this field of the immense effect of individual transformation. If as individuals we're able to take a couple of these ideas, apply a couple of the takeaways, and use them to help ground our nervous systems so that we're able to be a little bit less neurotic, a little bit less reactive, a little bit kinder, and a little bit more patient, that is a game changer. It changes everything for the people we're around. It changes things for our families. It changes things for our partners. It changes things for our friends, for our coworkers. It even changes for the people who are either in front of us or behind us in the long line at the grocery store. So that's the transformation I'm interested in. I'm interested in transforming the small things that we do and say every day, and to lean in to a kinder, more patient, more loving and compassionate way of navigating the world.